Hey yo guys, I'm here to give you my WWE No Way Out pay-per-view review as well as my HBO Boxing After Dark review. Gotta say, for the WWE pay-per-view, this thing was just fucking awesome. I don't think there's any other words to really describe it other than fucking awesome. I mean, this pay-per-view was excellent from, I wouldn't go top to bottom, but the matches that were hyped, that were supposed to deliver, absolutely did their job. With HBO Boxing After Dark, I would say night of controversy in some aspect, especially with the second bout with Sergio Martinez and Kermit Cintron. Bit of controversy, judging, I have no clue what was going on in some of the aspects. And I would say, I guess I could call it the night of people getting robbed. That's just me, though. But anyways, let's get to the reviews. Always at the end of the review, love to know your feedback. Definitely, best match, worst match, overall opinions for, both the WWE No Way Out pay-per-view as well as HBO Boxing After Dark. Hopefully get a fair amount of equal share between the two. If you've seen both or if you've seen one or the other, just please leave your feedback. But anyway, let's get to the WWE No Way Out review. Pay-per-view took from Seattle, Washington. And man, did we start things off with, an interesting twist, I thought, as we started things off with the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. And this was just completely eerie to me that we started with the one that we all perceived on paper to be much better. We started things out in the chamber with Edge and Jeff Hardy, and these two put on a pretty good little match going on. I thought, they were very well together. They did this amazing counter spot where, I wouldn't say amazing, but this really good counter spot where Jeff went for the twist of fate, Edge reversed it, went for an execution, Jeff spun out of that, Edge then got into twist of fate, Edge kicks out, Edge goes for the spear, Jeff perfectly inside cradles Edge, mind you, elimination, and at I'm freaking out because you eliminated the top heel, the person that can, ignite this match, at that point probably the best as we hadn't had everyone out in the chamber, and you eliminated him. So I was just shocked considering the next guy you brought out was Kozlov, who needs all the help in the world, and he sure as hell proved it in this match that he's absolutely terrible, and he is horrible. Yeah, he can play the monster, without being in the ring, but when he got in the ring, he botched some amazingness that I will not even believe to this day that he botched. Especially when he botched Snake Eyes. I mean, how do you botch a simple scoop? How do you botch that? I don't understand. Anyways, Kozlov and Jeff were in there. This thing, it was slow. The next one they brought out was Big Show. They worked, and okay with the heels, taking advantage of Jeff and, the monster factor and what have you. It was okay. The match was plodding along slowly. Triple H then came out. Triple H then worked. He added some more excitement to the match as the fans got behind him. So that was good. But the match then kicked into full gear when Undertaker got out, because Undertaker clearly has, the more overness out of anyone in this match. It's obviously proven, well, at least in the Seattle market here, it was proven. Jeff may have a lot behind him, but, he'd been for a while. Triple H got in there, but not much happened. Once Undertaker got in there, he was just awesome. He picked the tempo of this match up so much, it's not even funny. And this match then, as I said, skyrocketed. We had then, Undertaker eliminate Kozlov, I believe Kozlov got eliminated by Undertaker. I believe that's what happened. Because I know for sure that Big Show got eliminated then after Kozlov, after, they did the Umaga elimination spot with, how they eliminated Umaga last year in the chamber, where it was Pedigree, Swanton, and then eliminated. So that's how we got rid of the Big Show. And then, the last 10 minutes of this match, or the last 15 with, Triple H, Jeff Hardy, and Undertaker, awesome. I mean, these men have so much chemistry together, it's not even funny. I mean, they just work so well together. The elimination of Jeff was awesome after he did basically, he did poetry in motion over Undertaker and the Triple H into the cage, or the chain link, the fence part of it, what have you. Undertaker then, Lucha Tilt-A-Whirl picked up Jeff. I have no clue why he picked him up that way. It was awesome. Tombstone eliminates Jeff, and then we go to some awesome in-ring work. I mean, it was like this match was like a lucha match, just like the final fall of a big lucha match, just like the last chamber match was, where you had, Undertaker hit Tombstone. The near fall here is amazing. Triple H gets the foot on the rope. Triple H hits a pedigree. Kicks out, the crowd goes insane. Eventually, Triple H gets out of a chokeslam, pedigree, that's it. Awesome match. One of the best openers on WWE pay-per-view of all time, in my personal opinion. And one of the best openers I have ever seen. It's up there. Not the greatest. I would still go, the greatest opener I've seen is Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, WrestleMania 10. I would still go there, but this is up there, definitely top 5 best openers of all time. Then we went to the next match, which was the no-holds-barred match between Randy Orton and Shane McMahon. This match, it was really good. I mean, I thought it was still interesting that they put, a big, important match here, but I was very happy that we did not see this as the main event, as there was some rumor that this could have been the main event, but I'm happy we didn't get there. These two were a stiff, no-holds-barred match. I mean, what you really shouldn't be, I shouldn't really about it, since that's how the McMahons work. I mean, they've had no real formal training, so I mean, a lot of the stuff they're gonna do stiff. You had Shane, beat the tar out of Orton. He nailed Orton with the monitor so hard. I think he probably potentially had Orton out on his feet for the majority of the for the rest of the match after that. Busting him open hard way. You had the run-in come in from Legacy. It was a good up until, Ted just completely sold the back to Cody for the chair shot. I didn't like that. Shane then hit Coast to Coast, which looked so much better than what he hit on Ted DiBiase from Raw in Oakland. I thought that looked so much nicer. And then, Shane continues to beat the tar out of Orton with, these kendo sticks and these chair shots, and Orton sells them well, saying, "No, Shane, let's think about it, being the awesome heel." Then they go to the, which is, McMahon trying to punt Orton, and that's just so awesome how they got there. Everyone saw the RKO coming a mile away, but it played off so well. Orton RKO victory. This feud obviously is not over, as there will be someone, to be the enforcer. I just thought, this worked so well. I liked this match a lot. I thought Shane, working, getting the revenge. A lot of people said, how believe Orton, is this top contender when, Shane McMahon beat the tar out of him. That was called a match with psychology, with weapons. That's a hardcore match with psychology, which you rarely will see. You couldn't rush this match. This match had to be slow and methodical, which it was. I wouldn't say it was too slow, but it was slow enough that, you understood what was going on. And it worked well. I mean, Shane, being the defender worked well, and, Orton didn't, look like a jackass out there, so thumbs up to that match. Then the WWE decided we're going to cool things down. I mean, this match, which was next, was the ECW Championship, Jack Swagger versus Finlay. It was clearly supposed to be the worst match of the night, especially the slot it had and on the pay-per-view. But whatever, it built the crowd down. I mean, you don't always want your crowd to, put another amazing match on next, or something that, the crowd's super going to get into, is the fact that you're going to be dead by your main event. So that's why we had this match on. This match was okay. Wasn't as good as you would have expected. Clearly, I think these two could, maybe put, could have done a little better. I mean, the match they had on ECW 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was now, was a lot better than that. I don't know. Maybe they got more timing, what have you. I don't know what it was, but I think the house show aspect of this, because I know for a fact on the house shows, these men are only working, a minute together, and that is not good, as you're supposed to groom Swagger to be, the next superstar. 17 seconds or less than a minute doesn't help at all. So that's just my thoughts there. I mean, the story of the match was, Hornswoggle kept interfering. Finlay hitting the ropes knocks Hornswoggle off, and Swagger then, does gets the doctor bomb after, the mats, after, he brings him down to the mat with a sideways lock. And then Dr. Bomb gets the victory. They had a lot of mat wrestling and all, which was good. I like to see that, especially, shows that Finlay can still do it. You can tell they're really grooming Swagger for, the championship, a strong push on, one of the bigger shows, when you have him work with Finlay, just like Bobby Lashley worked with Finlay. So, thought that match, while it was, definitely the worst match on the show, in my opinion, it served its purpose. Then we went to the next match, which was Shawn Michaels versus JBL. If Shawn wins, he's free. If JBL wins, he owns the Shawn Michaels name and likeliness. While this match to me was a bit of a disappointment, especially since we had Shawn Michaels in there, and we know Shawn can work with anyone. I don't know what happened here. JBL seemed to put a little bit of the weight back on. I don't know. JBL just, bullied Shawn around. It wasn't as strong as you would have expected it to be. But, the story of it, the storytelling in this match was, about a 4. But, the in-ring work was about, 1.5 to 2. That's just my thoughts on that. Definitely wasn't the biggest fan of the in-ring product here, but, once you had JBL, bring out... The finish kind of went how I thought it would, but only, have Shawn disqualified as you had JBL tease Shawn's wife, and, she hit, and then I thought JBL would have, done something, maybe pushed her or something, and Shawn would have enraged and got disqualified to go on, but no, we had basically Shawn come in and then, beat down JBL, super kick, that was it, and that's the end. It just seems like there's no way this can be the end of the feud. There just seems like how this ended, there just seems no fucking way this can be over. This will continue for another couple weeks on Raw. I'm sorry to burst every of Taker versus Shawn, but I think we're going to get that still to drag on for a little while. But anyways, disappointing match. But anyways, here we go to the main event. This is the Raw Elimination Chamber. We have John Cena defending his belt up against Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio, Kofi Kingston, Kane, and Mike Knox. Now, the interesting part of this match is while Kofi Kingston comes down, Edge attacks and gets in the pot. And by the way, he does such an awesome job at doing this, looking like the insane wild man. The only thing I'm really missing with Edge right now, doing that type of stuff, the beard. If he had the beard, it would have been awesome. But then again, I guess this match couldn't have 2 awesome beards, especially he had Mike Knox. Anyways... Edge just attacks, and, the reason this, may not seem that great to the live crowd or some of the people that watched at home is the fact that, announced that Shane was taken to the hospital with Stephanie, what have you, and we're supposed to now figure out that Vicky Guerrero was in charge of the whole show. That's the only thing, I guess, that, may have not seemed through. That's why this was allowed to continue, but whatever. Edge gets in there, does an awesome job, and, Vince tells Michael Cole to, say, look at this wild man go insane. And then they did a perfect production shot. They zoomed into Edge's face, and his eyes are just so eerie and all. Excellent production work for that. Anyways, we started things off with the chamber of Rey versus Jericho. These two put on a good match. I wouldn't say awesome match yet. It was a good little match here going on. Nothing what these two can do. Especially if you've seen them in WCW at Bash at the Beach 98, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, these two put on a good match. Then Kane comes out. Kane serves his role to be, the monster type deal. Down those guys. He didn't play it as well as you would thought he could have, but he still did well. He served his purpose. I'm not going to complain about Kane. there's been a hell of a lot worse Kane matches, and plus to boot, you had Rey and Jericho to work with, so nothing to complain about. Then Kane gets eliminated by the seated Cintron off the top of the pod from Mysterio. That eliminates Kane. Mike Knox comes out next, and I think this is the hidden gem of this awesome match. They made Mike Knox look like $1,000,000 in this match, as he absolutely beat down, for a young guy like Mike Knox, who's been with the company for, this is his second stint with the company as he got released, after his original run on ECW. They made him look like $1,000,000 working with Jericho and Rey and absolutely getting to beat them down. That is a huge feather in the cap of what they have in store for Mike Knox. Mike Knox proved he can work. He makes that, that nasty looking stiff, really he's light as a feather type guy. Awesome stuff there. And then the finish, it looks like he's gonna absolutely, maybe get shell-shocked on Rey or whatever they're calling it. I don't know what they call it. Jericho, codebreaker out of nowhere. What that move is supposed to be, an out-of-nowhere move. It worked, and the production was so well because you just shot it like you didn't see Jericho coming. Awesome stuff there. Mike Knox is eliminated. Next, we have Edge come out, and, Rey, who's, friends with Kofi, upset that Kofi got taken out, what have you, tried to get at Edge before Edge locked himself in the pod. Edge tries to come out. Mysterio just puts this beat down going on him, what have you. And then Edge and Rey and Jericho worked this little good match together. I thought it was just awesome stuff that those three were in there. And then Cena comes out. Cena does this awesome facial expression where he waves at Edge for, trying to steal into this match, what have you. They work so well. Cena's being, now clean house, what have you. That's how everyone would expect him to be booked and what have you. But then it happened. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have seen ECW Living Dangerously 1999, the triple threat, or the three-way dance for the ECW Championship, Taz versus Masato Tanaka versus Mike Awesome. When the first guy they eliminated was Taz, the place in that building just goes, Oh, they are just in awe of the fact that they just eliminated Taz. The building was in shock. And you could so sense that here. They were in complete and utter shock that John Cena was third eliminated. I mean, utter shock. They eliminated Cena within 3 minutes. And then the match got him even more better. I mean, the crowd was just insanely, like, in shock, and the place is starting to go bananas about what's happened. They couldn't believe it. And then we had this awesome match between Jericho and Mysterio. Jericho gets eliminated after this awesome spot. Ray goes for the springboard, seated senton again. Jericho reverses into a lion tamer. Mysterio rolls through, roll up, Jericho eliminated. I mean, we all knew Jericho wasn't going to win. And then the last, 5 minutes with Edge and, oh my god, Edge and Mysterio was awesome. I mean, the near falls here, like the lucha match in the first one, Mysterio would hit anything. The crowd would just go ballistic. Like, they so wanted Mysterio to win. And we all obviously knew, but there was just the belief that, hey, maybe Mysterio could get the belt. And in this match, he sure as hell proved he could be belt-worthy. I don't know, but he proved that he could be belt-worthy. Ever since Ray has been moved over to Raw, I must say, he's gotten himself serious. You know, I mean, he's lost the baby fat that he had when he came back from, his first severe injury. And he's just dedicated himself to putting on awesome matches. This is Ray, ECW, AAA, WCW, whatever. He was in here. He was in the chamber. He was flying around doing these amazing things. And by the way, he also worked with Edge, who that's going to be awesome since they were an amazing tag team. So, oh my god, this was just awesome. And then, the way to get Ray eliminated was awesome. They're on the steel guardrail. Ray comes charging. Edge launches fucking Mysterio into the air. Goes into the pod. If you've seen one of the best spots of 2004, which is Mystico in CMLL, he gets launched over the top rope, lands and does on some guy and does a Hurricane Rana. That's basically what this almost was, with the exception of landing on the floor and hitting a Rana. So that's what happened, and then Mysterio pops up, Edge Spear. Edge is the new champion. When the WWE does stuff to absolutely swerve us, it's some of the most fun things on today, and I think this pay-per-view proved it. We all thought we had this pay-per-view planned out. We all did. Don't lie. We can't lie. We all thought it was just going to be Cena retaining, Edge retaining, programs, boom, boom, boom. We all knew it was going to happen. Absolutely not. They swerved us 100%, and this was not a Russo TNA swerve where it was just fucking stupid, and for no reason whatsoever. This made perfect sense. Overall, thumbs up. And by the way, that last match, I will go with the full 5. The full 5, excellent match. 2 excellent matches, or 1 amazing match, 1 amazing excellent match, 1 awesome match, and 1 really good match. The things they built up delivered. Thumbs way up on this pay-per-view. Awesome, awesome stuff. Anyways, moving over to HBO Boxing After Dark, which took place from the Bank Atlantic Center in Sunrise, Florida. We got things kicked off on the television portion here with the first bout, which was can't remember his name at the moment. I'm just still jazzed about this. It was Cosmo Rivera and Alfred Angulo. Really, this fight to me was an interesting fight, as you know, Cosmo was the last-minute replacement of from Ricardo Mayorga. He comes in, he's doing a fine job there. I mean, the first round was all his. I was absolutely shocked at how he outboxed and cut open Alfred right in there. I mean, I was just shocked about that. He did that. The second round was much of the same for Cosmo Rivera. I'm sorry, Alfredo, as I said earlier, but I'm sorry. Anyways, Rivera just did that. But then, Angulo just did much of the things that we're so used to. He did he just turned the pace with some big punches, what have you. Cosmo Rivera got tired in that portion of it. Once the third round started, he got tired, and you could tell as Alfred Angulo just teed off on Cosmo Rivera, basically had him, in the ropes a lot of times where the ref could stop it. In the 5th round, the worst damage was going on. I'm surprised the ref didn't make the stoppage. The commission actually stepped in to stop it, and his corner throws in the towel. So Alfred Angulo still stays undefeated, and proves why he's one of the best up-and-comers in the realms of boxing. Anyways, let me move over to the next bout, which is Sergio Martinez versus Kermit Cintron. And honestly, a fight, for the first 3 rounds was a feeling out process and real slow, but then, Martinez kicked it in and started, absolutely dictating the pace, and which actually shocked me, as I thought Kermit's hands were just going to absolutely overwhelm Martinez, but that was not the case at all. Cintron really didn't want to throw in this one, which I was just shocked. And then, in the fifth, there was an accidental headbutt, or I believe it was an accidental headbutt, where Sergio Martinez cut open Kermit's Cintron. Anyways, and then the seventh round is where some controversy comes in. There was a nice little punch, and a hidden inside, jab type punch that knocks down Cintron. Cintron, thought it was a headbutt. He didn't, it looked, on live viewing, he didn't stand up within the 10 count, gets counted out, he's upset, what have you. The referee then says, no, he was just leading him over to tell him that, it was not a headbutt, what have you. It looked like the fight was over. Martinez is celebrating. No, we have to continue. Well, this kind of gives, Cintron a chance, but, he really didn't take place up until come into effect within the 10th round. 10th and 11th, he kind of came to life there, winning those rounds in my mind, but really not a lot you can really say. Sergio Martinez, to me, wins this fight, but what happens? They screw Sergio Martinez. They call this one a draw. Two judges scoring this 113-113, and one judge scoring Martinez 116-110, which is the same score I had this as. Anyways, I was just in utter amazement that Sergio Martinez did not get the win. Shocking. I was just absolutely shocked with the judging in this fight. Yeah, Cintron may have came into the later rounds, but Cintron did not a hell of a whole lot. He wasn't being... was not Kermit Cintron in this fight. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was... I don't know what it could have been. I mean, the Margarito fights have been a long time ago. Kermit should have gotten past that. I don't know what. But anyways, then we go to the next fight, which I would definitely go fight of the night, which was Nate the Galaxy Warrior Campbell versus Ali Funeka. This fight was really interesting. I enjoyed this fight a lot. Definitely made up for the lacklusterness of the last fight. The only thing that made that fight interesting was the controversy, is, there was some intrigue and something to play up in there. Anyways, the Galaxy Warrior versus Ali Funeka. This fight, Campbell seemed like he was determined to get an early stoppage, as he was mad about the fact that, he lost his titles on the scale, and his titles were now only available for Funeka if he could get the victory. Anyways, the first two rounds, it was just, Funeka, in the ropes getting beat down. I don't know why. He kind of fought really... Campbell, worked the body, worked the head then, as the head will fall if you work the body, and that's what he did. He put some strong power punches together, knocks down Funeka in the second round, an amazing shot there. Overhand right, just takes down Funeka there. I didn't think he would have survived the last portions of it after he got up. I thought this fight would have been over third round, but no, it looked like he was going for, Funeka survived, tough one, but it looked like Nate was just trying to get the knockdown. The knockout, I should say, and, win, but, Funeka then made it interesting from rounds 3 to 10, as he won the fights where, the weight issue may have caught up to Campbell, as, he really couldn't keep up. Campbell even admitted that the weight issue did happen. He couldn't really keep up with Funeka. Funeka then, outboxed him, outworked him, won a lot of the rounds convincingly. Looked like he was going to actually become the champion, win all those belts that Campbell was holding. But then Campbell shows the heart of a champion, comes back, boom, overhand right once again, dropping Funeka, another 10-8 round there for Campbell, throws him back interesting. Then Campbell fights, for, his, mainstream status, as a top-tier contender, winning the last round. Was it enough for me? No, I had, since Funeka, to me, won the middle portion of the whole fight, he won the meat of the fight, and Campbell won the first and the end of the fight. So I didn't give it enough. I had a 114-112 Ali Funeka. The judges, however, one judge scored it, I believe, a draw as well. I don't know how this could have been a draw. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that. This one is more potential of a draw, if you don't mind me saying. And then the last two judges scored it 115-111 and 114-112 for the winner, Nate Campbell. Very, heart of a lion type fight for him. Really was impressed with him. Funeka proved his wealth that he can do some damage here up in North America. It was a shame, that's a tough way to, come. It's always tough when this is your first fight out of your home country, especially for Funeka, who fights mainly in South Africa. So, tough fight there. But overall, it was an enjoyable night of fights. I've heard some people say it sucked. I wouldn't say it sucked. I mean, I think the last fight made up for, you know, the slow Cintron Martinez bout. But that's just me. Anyways, leave your feedback. I know this went a little long, but still, leave your feedback, you know, for if you've seen both shows, if you've seen either, if you've seen one or the other. Match of the night, what was the worst, and overall thoughts. Please leave your feedback. Anyways, that's it for me. I am out. Peace.